What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another podcast episode. In this one, we're going to try to keep it a little bit shorter than our usual. Ideally, I want this to be like a 15-20 minute podcast episode. But yeah, other than that, I guess we will just like jump right into it. For this one's going to be more so about like the fitness journey. And I find that like actually my shorts lately have been kind of revolving around this. And I don't know if it's just because like I know it's like January's coming and like everybody's going to be starting their fitness journey, but it's definitely like what I've been finding I've been thinking about most in terms of like content creation. So with that being said, my question to you is, what is like the biggest piece of advice that you would give to a beginner? So someone who's literally just about to start their fitness journey. And I know it's like it's going to be very hard to just like pick one. But if you could only pick one thing, what do you think it would be?
So my like one thing kind of encompasses a couple trickle effects.
That's cheating. That's cheating.
Okay, so my one thing would be walking for 30 minutes every single day.
I like that one. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that daily activity. It's not necessarily working out.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's nothing intimidating. It's simple. And it's just kind of like.
And even if you have to start at 10 minutes, do it. If you have only 10 minutes in the morning or like mid-morning and 10 minutes in the afternoon, then do it. When I'm like in the middle of my workday and I only have like 15 or 20 minutes to like sneak out and go for a walk, what I do is I'll set a timer on my phone for like 8 minutes. So I'll walk in one direction for 8 minutes. When my timer goes off, I turn around. That way I'm not stressing out like, oh no, I don't know what route is only going to take me 15 or 20 minutes.
You know what's really funny is when you guys went up north to Long Lac and I was like constantly going for walks. And I was taking Penny for walks. I would go on like hour-long walks.
Yeah,
because I was just bored. I was just at home and I like didn't know what to do with myself. So I would just like go for these hour-long walks. And then on work days, I would wake up in the morning and I would go and like potentially work out in the morning because it was nice weather. So I'd just go work out in the garage.
In July, right?
Yeah. And then I would take Penny for a walk.
Before work.
You know what I'm like. You know what I'm like. So like I'm that person who like if I have something planned that day or like I need to be somewhere, I find it very difficult to do anything. Like I just want to essentially sit around at home, slowly get ready, and then like head to work.
Yeah, because you always, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. So
so like it causes me like extreme anxiety, but I would go on these walks and I would do my same loop, but I had never timed it before. So like it would be like this is so ridiculous, but it would be like 8 o'clock and I would go on this walk. So even if like max it took me an hour, like I'd be back home by 9.
Yeah, and you leave for work at
9:30.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I remember the first time I did, I was like, what was I thinking? Like, I need to like hurry up. And like, there were moments where I'd like intensely speed walk or I'd start to like almost like light jog. And I'd like, like in my mind, even like I would justify it by just being like, come on, Penny, let's run. And like get her running, you know, but like, it was really just like my anxiety just like kicking in. I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to be late for work because I decided to go for this silly walk.
Welcome to Ethan's brain.
Yeah, for sure. Just full of anxiety. uh, but yeah, no, that's like a really good one.
Okay, what's yours?
So mine, I feel like mine would have to revolve around nutrition, but it wouldn't be in the sense of like track your food. It wouldn't be in this like in that sense. It would be like prioritize protein.
Yeah.
So make sure you're eating adequate protein with each meal.
Yeah.
So like if no matter what you're eating. So if you're eating a snack or you're eating a meal, you make sure that that has protein.
Yeah.
And like I don't mean like a gram of protein, because you can find a gram of protein in anything.
In rice.
But like an adequate amount, like, you know, like minimum, I would say like 10 grams of protein. Because if it's got 10 grams of protein, chances are that it's a good macro balance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're having a snack, aim for something that has like 10 grams of protein.
So I don't remember what we were watching recently, but they had mentioned every meal they counted their protein, but they only counted the protein within their protein source. So like they only counted their meat, their eggs.
That was Chris Bumstead.
Okay. So like it's not like, okay, this cup of rice has 2 grams of protein. Yeah. This granola bar has 3 grams of protein.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't want to have to consume 1,000 calories worth of carbs to hit that 10 grams of protein.
Exactly. Well, like, and again, like what dictates a snack?
Yeah.
200, 300 calories, maybe upward. So like depending on your caloric intake.
Yeah.
It might be like, we gotta go shut the dog up. All right, brief intermission. We had to get the dog because she was barking, and we film these at night, and we can't let her wake the kids up. But yeah, so like a snack to me is like anywhere between like 200 and 500 calories, depending on what your caloric intake is. So for like a beginner, chances are it's like 200 to 300 calories.
Yeah. How many people have you coached whose meals were not even 300 calories?
Well, that's what they tell me.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the thing, is like I feel like a lot of people just like, one, they might not have realized how much they were truly eating. They weren't measuring properly, or they were lying. They were just straight up lying.
Yeah, like, I think like your biggest like tip along with protein, it would just go hand in hand with like understanding how to read a nutrition label.
Exactly.
To make sure there's enough protein.
To me, like nutrition is going to be like your main foundation. Like, yes, obviously, like if you want to build the physique of your dreams, like you need all components.
Yeah.
But I think like the starting place for me is with nutrition. And I think the most simple thing you can do is just learn how to just track your protein.
Yeah.
Right? So 0.7, 1 to like 1 gram per pound
of body fat
of
or
actual body weight.
Right.
I think is like a good measurement. And then like, yeah, so like with your snacks, you know, aim for that 10 gram. For your meal, like it should be like 25, 30 grams, right?
Yeah.
So like the whole like fistful of protein.
Yeah.
Or like the palm of your hand, whatever you want to use, but like somewhere around that size. But I think like that would be huge. And then as well, like you also have to like realize that like you can't go to McDonald's and get because their patty is the size of your fist. It's like, oh, there's my protein. Because guess what? That patty doesn't contain 25 to 30 grams
and it
of protein.
Probably contains twice as much fat than protein.
Like, so like that isn't a good meal.
So what are, I have a couple in my head, what are sources of food that people often kind of mistake as sources of protein?
Peanut butter.
Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt's is a great source of protein.
Yeah, you're right. It has a lot of protein.
The only thing you want to watch for is the other garbage in it.
Yeah.
Right? So like if you're eating a Greek yogurt that's like honey flavored Greek yogurt and it's got like, so now it has honey in it. The ridiculous thing is it's still sweetened with sugar.
Yeah.
So now you have honey and sugar. So like your carbohydrates are through the roof.
Yeah.
Your sugar intake is through the roof. So now
Yeah.
you're just like your glucose spike is like
huge,
massive. And yes, you're getting like a decent amount of protein, but like it's and like again, like if that's your dirtiest thing you're
100%.
eating,
if that's like your treat,
if that's your treat, yeah, like if that's your replacement to ice cream,
Yeah.
like freaking amazing. Good
Yeah.
job.
So you said peanut butter. My answer would have been nuts.
Yeah, nuts are huge
Yeah.
because they're so calorically dense, and people think like, oh, they're healthy though, but it's like they're super calorically dense. So like, yes, they do have benefits.
Mhm.
Yes, they do have their time and place where you can throw them in and it's fine. But like if your goal is specifically like weight loss,
Mhm.
which a lot of people, that is the goal, it's like you gotta be careful because you eat that handful of nuts and it's like, whoa, that just threw a lot of calories at you.
And you're still starving.
Yeah.
They're usually salty, which leaves you constantly wanting more.
Yeah, and like another like, so like, yeah, nutrition, prioritize protein, aim for 10 grams in your snacks at least, 10 to 15, 25 to 30 in your meal. I think you're going to be on you're going to be in a good place.
Mhm.
Now, to go off of that, what is one tip that if you could go back in time, what is one thing you would tell yourself? Like what's that one piece of like useful information that you would give yourself to like speed your journey, like to have a massive impact?
So for me, it definitely stems back to yo-yo dieting. Whether I knew I was yo-yo dieting at the time or not, I think if I went back in time, I would more early on from the beginning focus on the long-term health and not just the abs that I literally never had in my entire life anyways.
Yeah.
And this is what I was talking about when I initially said my starting point or my tip for people is kind of a tip, but it encompasses a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
But it's focusing on adding habits, adding water, adding movement, and not just focusing on restriction.
Yeah.
Restriction was huge when well, it still is, but I'm out of that restrictive mindset.
Yeah.
But it was, okay, eliminate sugar, eliminate chips and salty stuff, and eliminate cheese and dairy and everything.
Yeah, it's like the whole it's like the parenting thing, right? Where like you don't want to tell your kids to just not do something
because they want it more.
Then they want to do it that much more, right?
Yeah.
So like it's the same mindset where like you're kind of digging yourself a hole.
100%.
But yeah, like restricting, yeah, that's like a big one. Yours is so much better than mine.
Just based on that,
I don't even want to say it in.
You have to now.
If you were to guess, what do you think mine's gonna be?
I don't want you to get offended.
I don't care.
Work your legs earlier.
That's what it is. That's literally what it is. I thought about this earlier and I was just like, man, if I could go back in time, like that's 100% what it would be. Because like
your biceps would be smaller.
I don't even care. It doesn't even matter to me. But to me, like I didn't start properly training my legs until like in my 20s.
Yeah, like mid-20s. Would it have been like long lac-ish?
Yeah, I feel like it was before Long Lac. I
Okay.
feel like it was just before Long Lac that it was
So like 2013.
but
so
like
yeah, early 20s.
yeah, like it would have been my early 20s where I really started training my legs. And I find, okay, that like I'm not overly strong. Like when you compare me to like people who've been training the same amount of time as me,
Or people in your like
I'm
weight class.
yeah, I'm not overly strong.
Yeah.
But like I just think like I don't think about this often. It doesn't like keep me up at night. But if I were to have been training my legs since when I started working out when I was like 12 years old,
Yeah.
versus starting training my lower body at the age of like 20.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
just think like
crazy.
it would have been insanely different.
It's crazy too because your legs respond really well and really quick.
Yeah.
Like looking at your physique, you would never know that you
didn't
literally
yeah.
only worked upper body
like yeah
for
like,
half of your
seriously
life.
like every day was arm day, every day was abs, and then it was like bench, pull-ups, like it was just like everything but legs. I would work legs once in a while, and I would always go too hard too soon, and I would just be sore for a week, and I'd be like, I'm not freaking doing this. Like why would I do that? Like
Yeah.
I could work chest every day and not be sore.
I wonder why.
I could train my arms yeah, exactly. Like I didn't make the connection back then. And like at the time too, it was like, oh well, like I'm constantly walking and I'm constantly running and I'm constantly playing sports. So like to be sore in my legs sucks because then it's like now I'm not able to perform nearly as high as I would have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's like that train legs. If I were to say other than that, like more like a better for like the general population would be like start slow.
Yeah.
And slowly increase intensity. Like, and that goes for like no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
Like I still fall into that trap all the time.
So
where
do
like
I.
I will take a week off and then I will just jump right back in as if I was training every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, like I just got hit by a bus.
So sore.
And like and I fall into that trap all the time. And I feel like that's a big reason as to why people fail
Yeah.
in terms of their fitness is like they do too much right out the gate where they now all of a sudden they go from not exercising to exercising every day. And of course it's not like just a low intensity lift session, it's like a high intensity circuit training. That's what they feel like they need, because guess what, they want to get lean, and guess what they're doing at the same time, they're restricting, they're taking away. So now they're taking away, but then they're throwing insane amounts of exercise.
Yep.
And they're just completely fatiguing themselves. So like now they're just like they're sore, they're exhausted. Like chances are they're cranky because they're not getting that same caloric intake.
Oh yeah.
And it's like yeah, like you're literally just setting yourself up for failure.
I know. That's another thing. If I could go back in time, there are so many high intensity interval workouts I would never do again.
Yeah.
Like they have a time and a place, but when you're first starting out, those type of workouts just pry on the most vulnerable people's insecurities.
That's all it is. Like
I mean, that's the whole fitness industry, the majority of it.
Like it's like taking your insecurities and finding a way to market that.
Oh, I was looking at the magazine rack.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I definitely surround myself and like my social media with very positive, like body positive fitness and health, and food is fuel, it's not to be restricted and whatever. And I don't know if I just assumed that in this day and age that the media, like the actual magazines and stuff, have also evolved, but oh my gosh, it's still like
it's
eat these 6 foods to burn belly fat.
Everything is targeted around just having abs
and just losing weight and feeling good
it's
naked.
True, because
and
I think of the people that I follow, and I'm like, Layne Norton's a big one that I definitely follow daily.
Yeah.
And he's very much so like everything in moderation.
100%.
And he's not about that crazy yo-yo dieting and stuff, right? Like he's very much so very flexible with his diet and his modality, and he's a high performing athlete. He's an amazing powerlifter. And then Chris Bumstead. Yeah. Chris Bumstead too. He is literally like Mr. Olympia and like a professional bodybuilder, but at the same time he has a much different mentality than a lot of other people, where like he is also like he's so ahead of his time. Where like he's still in his prime, and yet he's already thinking of like long term. Like he's already thinking about like how he can best like maintain his body going into the future, and like what is truly like healthy and like makes health conscious decisions, and like he's not like your typical bodybuilder where like they're off season, they're just blowing up, and like he's staying lean, he's still very conscious about what he's putting into his body. And then like you have like Will Tennyson, who I follow. Again, he's very much so in that same realm where it's like everything in moderation, and like everything has its time and place, and like you don't have to constantly restrict yourself from these things.
For sure.
You know, so it's just like, I feel like it's changed so much.
But it hasn't.
For us though.
For us,
like
it
us,
has.
we've like seen the direction, and we're like, that makes so much more sense. And like it sucks because like that young generation, they're still driving for that. Like that's what they're still going for. But like luckily you have people like the people I just mentioned who are like putting out amazing information on like moderation and like wellness,
lifelong wellness.
Yeah, like you can be a high performing athlete and still be healthy to a degree. Obviously like bodybuilding, like you take your body to a unhealthy point,
extreme,
but like that's their sacrifice. Like every top performer has sacrificed something.
And I mean, a lot of the people we follow, well, maybe not a lot of them, but like people like Chris Bumstead, it's for a very short period of time, and it's very like controlled and expected. And even when he's done, then he's still treating his body with the same like nutrients and focusing on movement patterns, and not just like, okay, show day's done, time to just go crazy for the next 8 months.
But anyway, we hit our time limit already, so we will end the podcast there. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I thought it was extremely helpful, and hopefully you got some good tips from it. If you did, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and until next time, peace.
There's literally not a single can of pop left.
Nothing?
Nothing.
I just had the last grapefruit.
Not even Fresca.
Well, no, Fresca's the best one.
Do we need this light?
No, it looks really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think I nailed it.
Yeah.
It's already recording.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I noticed last time, though? I felt like it was like I was very much like this.
Yeah, you kept staring at me instead of looking that way.
I know, but I have a hard time deciding where to look. Okay, go ahead. I'm ready when you are.